At face value. The initial appearance without further investigation. At face value, his apology seemed sincere, but his actions suggested otherwise later on. Never accept things at face value. Deeper research is essential for sound decision-making. At face value, the situation seemed simple, but difficulties became apparent after analysis. At the forefront of. Leading or being most prominent in an area. The startup is at the forefront of cutting-edge technology, focusing on artificial intelligence. At the forefront of education reform, the school system has embraced personalized learning. The university remains at the forefront of scientific research and technological advancements. Close to impossible. Extremely difficult, almost impossible. The chances of winning the competition seemed close to impossible, but they defied the odds. It's close to impossible to climb the mountain during winter, due to extreme weather conditions. The task is close to impossible, given the current circumstances and limited resources available. Have a clear standpoint. To hold a definite opinion or position on an issue. Having a clear standpoint on the project's direction helps the team align their efforts effectively. He had a clear standpoint on climate change, advocating for more immediate eco-friendly action. The team must have a clear standpoint to avoid diverging opinions that could delay policy making. In times of need. During difficult or challenging situations. In times of need, people often discover their own strength and resilience in facing challenges. The community always comes together in times of need, to help one another through hardship. We should learn to rely on each other in times of need, especially during difficult circumstances. Yield positive results. To produce beneficial or successful outcomes. Collaborative efforts in the tech industry could yield positive results for global cybersecurity. New data privacy policies will likely yield positive results for customer trust and engagement. A positive attitude and hard work can yield positive results in both personal and professional life. For the foreseeable future. For the time that can be predicted. The policy will remain unchanged for the foreseeable future, ensuring stability for all employees. Blockchain technology is set to transform finance for the foreseeable future, according to experts. The development of artificial intelligence is expected to shape industries for the foreseeable future. From a legal perspective. Considering the law or legal issues. From a legal perspective, consent must be obtained before any data can be shared publicly. From a legal perspective, the contract terms were unclear, causing confusion in the agreement. From a legal perspective, intellectual property rights need stronger protections in the digital era. To a significant degree. To a large extent, considerably. The decision was made to a significant degree, based on customer feedback and market trends. Environmental changes are affecting wildlife populations to a significant degree across the planet. Online learning has shaped the education system to a significant degree during the last few years. To play a pivotal role. To be very important in a situation. Innovation plays a pivotal role in maintaining a competitive edge within the technology sector. The adoption of renewable energy is expected to play a pivotal role in combating climate change. Collaboration between countries plays a pivotal role in addressing global supply chain disruptions. As an underlying principle. As a fundamental idea or belief. As an underlying principle, mutual respect forms the foundation of our workplace culture. As an underlying principle, transparency is essential for building trust in digital financial systems. As an underlying principle, equity must guide decisions in health policies addressing public needs. To bridge the gap. To connect two different ideas or groups. Online education platforms bridge the gap in access to quality learning resources worldwide. Their partnership helped bridge the gap between scientific research and practical applications. Technological innovations in healthcare are crucial to bridge the gap in medical service delivery. To challenge the notion. To question or dispute an idea. Experts challenge the notion that automation leads to significant job losses across all sectors. The documentary seeks to challenge the notion that technology is always beneficial for society. His work challenges the notion that traditional leadership is always the most effective approach. With the utmost importance. With the highest level of significance. Mental health awareness is treated with the utmost importance in today's workplace culture. With the utmost importance, we prioritize the safety and well-being of our employees at work. Protecting data privacy is approached with the utmost importance by tech companies worldwide. A calculated risk. A risk taken after careful consideration. Switching to fully remote work requires a calculated risk to balance productivity and flexibility. Expanding into international markets poses a calculated risk in today's unstable global economy. Autonomous vehicle expansion is a calculated risk, with safety being a critical factor to consider. A fine line between. A subtle difference between two things. The artist walked a fine line between innovation and staying true to traditional techniques. There's a fine line between frugality and being overly cheap in managing household expenses. With AI technology, there's a fine line between creating helpful tools and replacing human jobs. A matter of principle. A situation where a person's beliefs are at stake. Choosing to buy sustainable products is not convenience-driven, but a matter of principle. Ensuring transparency in business practices is a matter of principle for leading tech companies. Prioritizing diversity in the workplace is a matter of principle for forward-thinking corporations. A rough estimate. An approximate calculation or judgment. A rough estimate of the number of active AI-powered devices is currently 5 billion worldwide. According to a rough estimate, the event raised enough funds to support 2 entire programs. Experts provided a rough estimate of the costs involved in implementing universal healthcare. A short-sighted approach. A plan that does not consider long-term consequences. Politicians often take a short-sighted approach, ignoring the long-term effects of their policies. A short-sighted approach to urban planning results in overcrowded cities with poor infrastructure. Ignoring employee welfare to cut costs is undoubtedly a short-sighted approach in the workplace. Abide by the rules. To follow or obey the established regulations. Players are warned that failure to abide by the rules may result in immediate disqualification. Companies must abide by the rules set by governments to ensure fair competition in markets. The new workplace guidelines expect employees to abide by the rules regarding remote work. Achieve consensus. To reach an agreement among a group. Global leaders must achieve consensus on tackling the growing refugee crisis in many countries. It took hours of negotiation to achieve consensus among stakeholders with conflicting priorities. Achieving consensus on major reforms is challenging, but crucial for long-term institutional success. Adopt a balanced view. To consider all sides of an argument fairly. Adopting a balanced view allows us to evaluate risks and benefits more effectively in decisions. The media should adopt a balanced view when covering controversial issues like politics or health. Journalists must adopt a balanced view to ensure unbiased reporting on controversial social issues. All but inevitable. Almost certain to happen. With the current weather conditions, delays in the delivery schedule are all but inevitable. With the rising tensions, a major confrontation between the nations seemed all but inevitable. The global economic downturn seems all but inevitable given the rising inflation rates worldwide. Arise from necessity. To come about because it is needed. Many great inventions arise from necessity, often in times of great adversity and innovation. Social media platforms arise from necessity, allowing people to stay connected across the world. Changes in educational methods arise from necessity, as digital learning becomes more widespread. As a rule of thumb. A general principle rather than strict rules. As a rule of thumb, most experts recommend a balanced diet for overall health improvement. As a rule of thumb, enterprises should prioritize sustainability to meet future consumer demands. As a rule of thumb, practicing mindfulness daily can improve both mental and physical well-being. As it turns out. What has been discovered or revealed? As it turns out, remote learning has become more effective than many initially expected. As it turns out, sustainable fashion is gaining traction and influencing major brands globally. As it turns out, the new social media algorithm favors content based on audience engagement. At the mercy of. Being influenced by someone or something. Many businesses are at the mercy of supply chain disruptions caused by geopolitical tensions. Small businesses are often at the mercy of fluctuating market demands and economic trends. The planet is at the mercy of industrial practices that contribute to environmental degradation. Back to the drawing board. To start over with a new plan after a failure. The marketing campaign didn't generate results, so it's back to the drawing board again. The unexpected legal issues forced the developers back to the drawing board for redesigns. When the product design didn't meet customer expectations, it was back to the drawing board. Beyond the realm of possibility. Something that is extremely unlikely or impossible. Solving this puzzle in mere minutes seems beyond the realm of possibility for most beginners. Winning the championship felt beyond the realm of possibility after their poor start this season. Colonizing another planet seems beyond the realm of possibility, but some scientists hope for it. Break new ground. To do something innovative or unprecedented. Her latest book continues to break new ground in the field of contemporary feminist literature. Efforts to break new ground in cancer treatments have shown promising results in recent trials. With its groundbreaking research, the company hopes to break new ground in quantum computing. Bring attention to. To highlight or emphasize something important. Influencers on social media bring attention to various social causes, inspiring their followers. The lecture brought attention to key trends in global population dynamics over the last century. The study aims to bring attention to the growing issue of environmental degradation worldwide. By all accounts. According to what everyone is saying, generally accepted. By all accounts, the discovery marks a major milestone in medical science and patient care. By all accounts, climate change remains one of the most pressing issues facing humanity today. The conference was, by all accounts, a valuable opportunity for networking and exchanging ideas. By default. Automatically, without any other choice. The application selects the most secure settings by default to protect user privacy and data. The system, by default, assigns a higher weight to recent data in predictive modeling analyses. Students are often, by default, grouped based on their proficiency levels in language courses. Cast doubt upon. To create uncertainty about something. Critics were quick to cast doubt upon the company's ability to meet its ambitious goals. His inconsistent statements during interrogation cast doubt upon his version of the events. The peer review process cast doubt upon the methodology used in conducting the clinical trial. Change the narrative. To alter the way a situation is understood. A new marketing strategy is needed to change the narrative and attract younger audiences. They hope to change the narrative surrounding the product's quality, to boost consumer trust. To succeed in the campaign, we must change the narrative about the candidate's past mistakes. Come to grips with. To accept and deal with a difficult situation. The team struggled to come to grips with the complex new regulations and requirements. It took years for society to come to grips with the long-term consequences of industrialization. Students must come to grips with the complexity of mathematical models used in econometrics. Comparatively speaking. When comparing two or more things. The revised policy, comparatively speaking, is more inclusive and equitable than earlier iterations. Comparatively speaking, her workload is lighter this year than it was during the previous semester. The hotel was affordable, comparatively speaking, given its prime location and excellent amenities. Consider all angles. To think about every aspect of a situation. Before making a decision, the board must consider all angles to avoid potential pitfalls later. The lawyer encouraged her client to consider all angles before agreeing to the settlement offer. A good leader will always encourage the team to consider all angles before implementing a plan. Consistent with. In agreement or harmony with something. The data is consistent with previous findings, confirming the reliability of the earlier research. His actions were not consistent with the company's core values, leading to disciplinary action. The students' performance was consistent with their strong academic track record over the years. Context is key. Understanding the surrounding conditions is essential. In debates, context is key. Taking things out of context can completely distort the argument. Context is key when interpreting historical events, as details can vary depending on the source. Context is key to interpreting historical events accurately, as small details can change everything. Count on the fact. To rely on something being true or happening. Investors can count on the fact that market trends often recover after periods of volatility. You can count on the fact that hard work and perseverance will eventually yield positive results. When planning outdoor events, never count on the fact that the weather will cooperate perfectly. Critical juncture. A decisive moment or turning point. The team reached a critical juncture, where they had to either innovate or risk falling behind. The peace talks reached a critical juncture, where compromise was essential to avoid conflict. At a critical juncture in the investigation, they uncovered new evidence that changed everything. Defy expectations. To go against what was anticipated or predicted. The new product defied expectations by exceeding sales forecasts within the first few weeks. Against all odds, they managed to defy expectations and turn the company's fortunes around. The underdog team managed to defy expectations and win the championship against all odds. Difficult to pinpoint. Hard to identify or locate precisely. The root cause of the issue is difficult to pinpoint due to overlapping variables in the study. It is difficult to pinpoint the exact moment when the climate crisis became widely recognized. The root cause of the economic downturn remains difficult to pinpoint due to conflicting data. Drive a hard bargain. Negotiate fiercely to get the best deal. You'll need strong negotiation skills to work with someone who drives such a hard bargain. She's known to drive a hard bargain, ensuring every deal benefits her business significantly. He drove a hard bargain during the contract negotiations, securing better terms for his client. Equally important. Of the same significance as something else. Equally important to studying is taking breaks to recharge your mind and prevent burnout. Communication and trust are equally important in building strong relationships within a team. Creativity and technical expertise are equally important when designing an innovative product. Faint possibility. A very slim chance of something happening. There's a faint possibility that the weather might clear up in time for the outdoor event. The faint possibility of spotting rare wildlife made the trek through the jungle worthwhile. The faint possibility of finding survivors motivated rescue teams to keep searching tirelessly. Fall under the category of. To be classified as a specific type or group. The new policies fall under the category of workplace safety and must be strictly followed. This novel would fall under the category of historical fiction due to its detailed period setting. These expenses fall under the category of non-essential and should be reduced to save money. Far from ideal. Not nearly as good as it could be, very imperfect. While the job is far from ideal, it provides the experience needed to advance in my career. The hotel's location is far from ideal, but its excellent amenities make up for the inconvenience. Their performance was far from ideal, but they showed great potential for future improvement. Feel obligated to. To believe one has a duty to do something. As a citizen, I feel obligated to vote in every election to help shape the community's future. She felt obligated to help her colleagues even though she had her own workload to manage. People often feel obligated to respond to emails immediately, even during their personal time. For the benefit of. To help or support someone or something. The research was conducted for the benefit of advancing sustainable energy solutions globally. Scholarships are offered for the benefit of underprivileged students pursuing higher education. Online lectures were introduced for the benefit of students unable to attend in-person classes. Frame the conversation. To set the context or parameters for a discussion. To frame the conversation effectively, start by defining the goals and key points of discussion. It's important to frame the conversation in a way that encourages open and honest feedback. By framing the conversation positively, we can keep the discussion productive and respectful. From all indications. Based on all available signs or evidence. The market is recovering, from all indications, signaling a strong comeback for the economy. From all indications, the project will be completed on time, despite initial delays and setbacks. From all indications, online education has become a stable aspect of modern learning methods. From another perspective. Looking at something in a different way. From another perspective, the setback could be a learning experience for the entire team. From another perspective, the delay might be an opportunity to refine the project further. This decision may seem risky, but from another perspective, it's a chance to innovate and lead. Gather momentum. To increase in strength or support over time. As the deadline approached, the project began to gather momentum and speed up significantly. With positive feedback pouring in, their new product launch began to gather momentum quickly. The campaign began to gather momentum after celebrities endorsed it on social media platforms. Get ahead of the curve. To be more advanced or proactive than others. The university introduced new programs to get ahead of the curve in emerging scientific fields. To get ahead of the curve, students were advised to focus on interdisciplinary skill development. By mastering advanced coding skills, she managed to get ahead of the curve in technology studies. Give due consideration. To think carefully about something important. It's important to give due consideration to the ethical implications of any new technology. The board gave due consideration to the financial projections before approving the budget. Before making a decision, we must give due consideration to all the possible consequences. Go down a different path. To choose an alternative option or approach. After much deliberation, the company decided to go down a different path to reduce costs. Opting to study abroad allowed her to go down a different path and broaden her perspective. Going down a different path can lead to unexpected prospects and innovations for your team. Go to great lengths. To make a significant effort to achieve something. They went to great lengths to make sure every guest felt welcome and valued at the event. To get the project approved, we went to great lengths by conducting extensive market research. The team went to great lengths to ensure that all customer feedback was addressed thoroughly. Grasp the essentials. To understand the most important parts of something. To succeed in this field, it's crucial to grasp the essentials before diving deeper into the details. Before tackling the advanced concepts, make sure you fully grasp the essentials of the subject. The training session helped new employees grasp the essentials of the software system quickly. Have a good grasp of. To have a strong understanding of something. Professors emphasize having a good grasp of ethical concerns in conducting empirical studies. Students with a good grasp of academic writing skills perform better in research-based assignments. A good grasp of historical context is essential for interpreting primary source documents accurately. Hope against hope. To have a wish for something that is unlikely to happen. Sometimes, it's important to hope against hope, even when the situation seems hopeless. They hoped against hope that the weather would improve, despite the forecast predicting rain. Even with limited data, the scientist hoped against hope that their hypothesis would be validated. In a favorable position. In a situation that is advantageous or beneficial. Being in a favorable position allows you to make bold decisions with confidence and clarity. With their strong brand and loyal customer base, they are in a favorable position to expand. After a successful marketing campaign, the brand found itself in a favorable position for growth. In collaboration with. Working together with someone. She worked in collaboration with experts from various fields to design the innovative solution. This program is offered in collaboration with industry leaders to enhance students' career readiness. The new product was developed in collaboration with global partners to meet diverse market needs. In consideration of taking something into account or thought. The schedule was adjusted in consideration of international students from different time zones. In consideration of your past performance, we have decided to offer you a promotion opportunity. The thesis submission deadline was extended in consideration of delays caused by technical issues. In light of past events, considering what has happened before. In light of past events, we have revised our strategy to ensure greater security and reliability. The decision to revise the policy was made in light of past events and their impact on consumers. In light of past events, we have increased our focus on employee well-being and workplace safety. In perfect harmony. Completely in agreement or synchronization. The couple seemed to be in perfect harmony, sharing a deep connection and mutual respect. The team worked in perfect harmony, combining their skills to solve the complex problem quickly. The dancers moved in perfect harmony, creating a mesmerizing and synchronized performance. In terms of likelihood. Regarding how probable something is. In terms of likelihood, the upcoming weather forecast suggests sunny days throughout the week. In terms of likelihood, the proposal will be approved given its alignment with institutional priorities. In terms of likelihood, securing external funding depends on the originality of the research proposal. Keep in perspective. To maintain a balanced view or understanding. Scholars are advised to keep in perspective the historical context of the events they analyze. Researchers must keep in perspective ethical considerations while conducting sensitive studies. Keeping in perspective their long-term goals, they prioritized internships over summer vacations. Have a sense of urgency. To feel a strong need to act quickly. To address climate change effectively, nations must have a sense of urgency in enacting policies. Organizations that don't have a sense of urgency may fall behind competitors in the tech industry. Capitalists need to have a sense of urgency to capture market opportunities before competitors do. Just a matter of time. Inevitable, it will happen eventually. With continuous efforts, it's just a matter of time before we achieve significant breakthroughs. Experts believe it's just a matter of time before renewable energy dominates global power grids. Advancements in space exploration suggest it's just a matter of time before humans land on Mars. Lay the foundation for. To establish the base or groundwork for something. Transparent communication helps lay the foundation for trust in any relationship or organization. Early childhood education helps lay the foundation for lifelong learning and cognitive development. Researchers aim to lay the foundation for breakthroughs in cancer treatments with their new study. Learn the hard way. To gain knowledge through difficult experiences. Many successful people had to learn the hard way before achieving their goals and dreams. They learned the hard way that rushing into decisions without planning can lead to mistakes. After multiple failed attempts, they learned the hard way that persistence pays off in the end. Leaves much to interpretation. Open to various understandings or meanings. The outcome of the meeting leaves much to interpretation, as no clear decisions were made. The film's ending leaves much to interpretation, sparking endless debates among its viewers. His vague response leaves much to interpretation, leaving everyone unsure of his true feelings. In light of recent developments. Considering what has recently happened. In light of recent developments, we have decided to revise our strategy and move forward. In light of recent developments, the company is focusing on improving its crisis management. In light of recent developments, the team is prepared to adjust to the changing circumstances. From a broader perspective. Looking at the situation from a wider viewpoint. From a broader perspective, the project's success could pave the way for future innovations. From a broader perspective, it's evident that addressing this issue will require collective action. From a broader perspective, the company's expansion strategy aligns with global industry trends. It goes without saying that. It is obvious without needing to be stated. It goes without saying that safety measures should always be a top priority in the workplace. It goes without saying that critical thinking skills are more important than ever in the digital age. It goes without saying that academic integrity is a cornerstone of credible research and scholarship. To take a different stance. to adopt a different position or opinion. After further research, they chose to take a different stance on environmental conservation. The professor encouraged students to take a different stance on controversial topics in class. Politicians may take a different stance on policies to address the diverse needs of their voters. It is worth noting that it is important or useful to mention. It is worth noting that customer satisfaction is a critical factor in driving business growth. It is worth noting that these changes were implemented after careful analysis and feedback. It is worth noting that the project was completed ahead of schedule, despite several challenges. Under no circumstances. In no situation, absolutely not. Under no circumstances can we compromise the safety of the passengers during the flight. Under no circumstances will the company tolerate unethical behavior among its employees. Under no circumstances can we allow the project deadline to be missed without a valid reason. Needless to say. Obviously, it doesn't need to be said. Needless to say, innovation is essential for staying competitive in the fast-paced tech industry. Needless to say, consistent effort and dedication are key factors in achieving academic success. Needless to say, regular exercise and a balanced diet are essential for maintaining good health. In stark contrast to very different from, completely opposite. In stark contrast to their initial approach, the new policy focuses on collaboration and flexibility. In stark contrast to his usual demeanor, he seemed quite calm and collected during the meeting. In stark contrast to the outdated methods, the new technology offers more efficiency and accuracy. At the heart of the matter. The most important part of something. At the heart of the matter lies the quest for universal access to affordable healthcare services. At the heart of the matter is ensuring that all voices are heard and considered in decision-making. At the heart of the matter is society's growing dependency on technology for basic daily activities. To shed light on. To clarify or explain something. The study seeks to shed light on the underlying causes of the recent environmental decline. The new report sheds light on the factors contributing to the increase in energy consumption. The investigation helped to shed light on the discrepancies in the company's financial statements. By the same token. In the same way, similarly. You can't expect to succeed without effort. By the same token, complacency is detrimental. By the same token, employees should also benefit from the company's growth and success. The charity event was a success. By the same token, it raised awareness for important causes. As a means of addressing. As a way to deal with or solve. As a means of addressing the issue, we'll implement a new training program for employees. Meditation is often recommended as a means of addressing stress and improving mental health. Urban planning initiatives focus on green spaces as a means of addressing air pollution concerns. To strike a balance between. To find a compromise between two different things. We need to strike a balance between ambition and patience to achieve lasting success in life. It's important to strike a balance between work responsibilities and personal time to avoid burnout. To strike a balance between quality and cost, the team implemented several process improvements. For the sake of clarity. To make things clear or understandable. For the sake of clarity, I will summarize the key points from today's meeting in this document. For the sake of clarity, we should provide a visual representation of the data during the discussion. For the sake of clarity, the policy document underlined key points in bold for easier comprehension. To raise awareness about. To inform people about something important. The charity's goal is to raise awareness about the dangers of substance abuse among teens. The organization hosted a campaign to raise awareness about mental health issues in schools. The charity event aims to raise awareness about the environmental impact of plastic pollution. From an academic standpoint. From a scholarly or educational perspective. From an academic standpoint, the findings are significant and could reshape future studies. From an academic standpoint, this theory offers a comprehensive analysis of historical events. From an academic standpoint, the methodology used in the study requires further refinement. To a large extent. Mostly or significantly. To a large extent, the success of the initiative depends on the involvement of the community. The company's growth can be attributed to a large extent to its innovative marketing strategies. To a large extent, the outcome of the election will be influenced by voter turnout and participation. With the advent of, with the arrival or beginning of, with the advent of social media, communication has drastically changed in the last decade. With the advent of new technology, businesses are able to improve their operational efficiency. With the advent of blockchain technology, digital currencies have gained widespread popularity. Beyond the scope of, outside the limits or range of something. The topic of space exploration is beyond the scope of this article, but it's an exciting subject. The issue at hand is beyond the scope of our current research, but requires further investigation. Detailed analysis of quantum mechanics is beyond the scope of this introductory physics course. The crux of the issue. The most important point of the problem. The crux of the issue is not just the cost, but the long-term sustainability of the proposed solution. The crux of the issue is whether the benefit of the project outweigh the potential risks and costs. The crux of the issue stems from conflicting interests between corporate and environmental goals. Taking into consideration. Considering or thinking about. When taking into consideration recent studies, we can see a rise in remote work satisfaction. Taking into consideration the safety concerns, we decided to delay the event until further notice. Taking into consideration all factors, we decided to proceed with a new proposal for expansion. In a similar vein. In a similar way or manner. In a similar vein, we can consider offering additional training to improve employee productivity. In a similar vein, the educational system is evolving to better meet the needs of modern learners. In a similar vein, businesses are now investing heavily in digital transformation to stay competitive. It should be emphasized that it is important to highlight or stress that it should be emphasized that data security should always be prioritized in digital transactions. It should be emphasized that creativity plays a crucial role in problem solving across disciplines. It should be emphasized that cultural diversity enriches societies in profound and meaningful ways. In line with current trends. Consistent with what is currently popular. In line with current trends, educational institutions are embracing online learning platforms. In line with current trends, fashion brands are focusing on sustainable and ethical practices. In line with current trends, businesses are increasingly relying on digital marketing strategies. In the context of considering the situation or circumstances. In the context of leadership, clear communication fosters trust and collaboration among teams. In the context of globalization, cultural exchanges have become more prevalent than ever before. In the context of education, technology has enabled unprecedented access to learning resources. With due respect to showing respect while stating a different opinion. With due respect to your suggestion, we feel that a more comprehensive solution is required. With due respect to your opinion, I believe there are other factors we should consider as well. With due respect to the management, we believe the current strategy needs to be re-evaluated. To a certain degree. To some extent, partially. The proposal was accepted, though to a certain degree, it requires further modifications. To a certain degree, social media platforms empower voices but also amplify misinformation. To a certain degree, technology has transformed how we communicate and share information. In the final analysis, ultimately, when everything is considered, in the final analysis, it's the quality of leadership that determines an organization's success. In the final analysis, balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability is crucial. In the final analysis, health policies need thorough research to protect vulnerable populations. To draw attention to. To highlight or focus on something. The report seeks to draw attention to the urgent need for educational reforms in schools. She used social media to draw attention to the injustices facing marginalized communities. The artist's work is meant to draw attention to social issues through striking visual statements. In favor of. Supporting or preferring something. She is in favor of increasing the budget for educational initiatives in underserved areas. The majority voted in favor of the new policy that promotes sustainability and green practices. Many citizens are in favor of stricter laws to protect the environment from industrial pollution. It would appear that. It seems that. It looks like. It would appear that artificial intelligence is revolutionizing data analysis across industries. It would appear that automation is drastically reducing the demand for manual labor worldwide. It would appear that the customer satisfaction levels have dropped following the recent changes. In the same breath. At the same time, simultaneously. They celebrated the success, but in the same breath, acknowledged the challenges ahead. He announced the new initiative and, in the same breath, emphasized its limitations and risks. She offered a solution, but in the same breath, suggested potential obstacles to overcome first. To put it succinctly. To express it in a brief way. To put it succinctly, our primary goal is to improve customer satisfaction and drive growth. To put it succinctly, the project exceeded expectations in terms of both quality and timeline. To put it succinctly, the company's strategy needs a complete overhaul to remain competitive. For all intents and purposes. Practically speaking, effectively. For all intents and purposes, the product launch was an overwhelming success for the company. For all intents and purposes, renewable energy sources are now viable alternatives to fossil fuels. For all intents and purposes, the policy changes signify a significant shift in governance priorities. In the foreseeable future. In the time that can be predicted ahead. In the foreseeable future, we expect continued economic growth despite global uncertainties. The weather forecast predicts no major storms in the foreseeable future, offering some relief. In the foreseeable future, we may see increased investment in renewable energy technologies. From an objective perspective. Looking at something without bias or personal feelings. From an objective perspective, the risk of failure should not outweigh the potential benefits. From an objective perspective, it's clear that more resources are needed to complete the task. From an objective perspective, both sides of the argument have valid points worth considering. On the flip side. Conversely, on the other hand, the promotion is a great opportunity. On the flip side, it means relocating to another city. The new software is highly efficient. On the flip side, it requires extensive training for users. On the flip side, despite the high costs, the technology could improve productivity significantly. In a nutshell. In summary, briefly. In a nutshell, the report outlines the company's financial performance over the last quarter. In a nutshell, the project was completed on time, under budget, and exceeded expectations. In a nutshell, we are focused on reducing costs while improving product quality and efficiency. From a financial standpoint. Considering financial factors. From a financial standpoint, the merger will create significant value for both companies. From a financial standpoint, the company is in a strong position to weather the downturn. From a financial standpoint, the investment offers substantial returns with relatively low risk. In a broader context. Looking at the bigger picture or wider situation. In a broader context, the policy aims to address systemic issues affecting the global economy. In a broader context, the climate crisis requires immediate, coordinated efforts across nations. In a broader context, sustainability must be integrated into every facet of business operations. To pave the way for. To create the conditions for something to happen. The new policy is designed to pave the way for increased investment in renewable energy. The groundbreaking research will pave the way for innovative treatments in medical science. This initiative will pave the way for future collaborations with international research institutions. To be indicative of. To show or suggest something. A growing preference for sustainable brands is indicative of changing consumer attitudes. Technological innovation is indicative of how industries are evolving to meet modern demands. The increase in data breaches is indicative of vulnerabilities within cybersecurity infrastructures. To set a precedent for. To create an example that others will follow. The court ruling could set a precedent for future cases related to intellectual property rights. The decision to offer flexible working hours may set a precedent for other companies to follow. The new legislation may set a precedent for how environmental issues are addressed nationally. From a pragmatic viewpoint. Considering practical aspects. From a pragmatic viewpoint, investment in infrastructure yields long-term economic benefits. From a pragmatic viewpoint, investing in technology is essential for staying ahead in the market. Higher education, from a pragmatic viewpoint, should integrate practical skills into its curriculum. In all respects. In every way, completely. In all respects, the education reform has been transformative, impacting students and teachers. This project is innovative in all respects, integrating technology and human creativity seamlessly. The environmental strategy, in all respects, addresses both mitigation and adaptation challenges. In due course. At the appropriate time, eventually. The necessary updates will be made in due course, ensuring the system remains functional. Companies are in pursuit of strategies that incorporate sustainability into their business models. In pursuit of. In the effort to achieve something. Universities are in pursuit of diversity in their student body to enrich the learning environment. Many startups are in pursuit of innovative technologies to disrupt traditional business models. Entrepreneurs are in pursuit of innovative solutions to meet the growing demands of consumers. To put it bluntly. To say something directly and clearly. To put it bluntly, the candidate's qualifications were not enough for the position offered. To put it bluntly, social media's influence on mental health is more negative than many admit. To put it bluntly, many startups struggle to scale because of poor financial management tactics. To be a driving force behind. To be a key motivator or influence in something. Innovation has been a driving force behind the company's growth and market dominance. She has been a driving force behind the team's success, consistently motivating and leading. Collaboration is a driving force behind the development of new solutions to global challenges. To bring into question. To doubt or challenge something. The study's findings have brought into question the accuracy of previous research conclusions. This new trend in fashion has brought into question sustainability practices within the industry. High-profile layoffs at tech firms have brought into question corporate social responsibility efforts. In the long run. Over a long period, eventually. Changing your diet today can lead to significant benefits in the long run for your health. In the long run, fostering strong relationships with clients will contribute to business growth. In the long run, maintaining a balanced lifestyle leads to improved overall health and happiness. Given the circumstances. Considering the situation at hand. Given the circumstances, the team managed to complete the project on time and successfully. Given the circumstances, the authorities have opted for a more cautious approach in responding. Given the circumstances, the local government has prioritized public health over economic growth. In light of conflicting views. Taking into account differing opinions. In light of conflicting views, they revised the proposal to accommodate diverse perspectives. In light of conflicting views, it's essential to consider both sides before making any judgments. In light of conflicting views, it's important to remain open to further discussion and compromise. Against the backdrop of. In the context of considering the situation. The debate unfolded against the backdrop of heightened tensions between political parties. Social justice movements have gained momentum against the backdrop of increasing inequality. Researchers are working hard against the backdrop of limited funding to push scientific boundaries. In a broader sense. More generally or widely. In a broader sense, the healthcare system needs significant reforms to improve accessibility. In a broader sense, cultural exchange enriches communities and fosters mutual understanding. In a broader sense, environmental sustainability is essential for future generations' well-being. To put into motion. To start or initiate something. Once the funding was secured, the company could finally put the expansion plan into motion. The government's environmental policies will put into motion substantial eco-friendly initiatives. The collaboration between universities aims to put into motion innovative approaches to research. In the realm of possibility. Within what can happen or be done. In the realm of possibility, the new treatment may offer hope to patients with rare conditions. In the realm of possibility, space exploration could lead to discoveries beyond our imagination. In the realm of possibility, quantum computing may revolutionize how we solve complex problems. To take a holistic view. To consider the whole situation rather than parts. To take a holistic view, we need to account for economic, social, and environmental factors. To take a holistic view, we must consider all the factors that influence the community's health. To take a holistic view, it's essential to recognize the interconnection between various systems. In a figurative sense. Not literally, metaphorically. In a figurative sense, the story of the tortoise and the hare teaches important life lessons. The author uses metaphors in a figurative sense to convey deeper meanings about society. The article explored how social media, in a figurative sense, influences real-world decisions. From a logical standpoint. Considering things logically or rationally. From a logical standpoint, the team should consider revising its strategy to meet deadlines. From a logical standpoint, spending more on education now will reduce future societal costs. From a logical standpoint, increasing efficiency in production will help reduce operational costs. In more concrete terms. More clearly or specifically stated. In more concrete terms, the system update will improve user experience by enhancing speed. In more concrete terms, the new law will require businesses to comply with stricter regulations. In more concrete terms, the proposal aims to increase employee productivity through incentives. In defense of. To support or justify something. In defense of the policy, the spokesperson highlighted its positive impact on employment. In defense of their actions, the team argued they followed protocol throughout the process. In defense of climate action, the scientist presented evidence from recent environmental studies. To open the door to. To create opportunities for something. The government's new policy could open the door to more sustainable urban development. A partnership between industries and universities can open the door to cutting-edge research. Modern educational tools have started to open the door to personalized learning experiences. As a guiding principle. As a rule to follow or reference. Treating people with respect should always be maintained as a guiding principle in leadership. As a guiding principle, mutual respect is essential for fostering a productive work environment. The university incorporates environmental responsibility as a guiding principle in its operations. For explanatory purposes. To clarify or explain something. The report included charts and graphs for explanatory purposes to aid reader comprehension. For explanatory purposes, the speaker used simple language to ensure clarity for all listeners. For explanatory purposes, the article includes a detailed step-by-step breakdown of the process. In a hypothetical scenario, in a situation that is imagined or not real. The university's rigorous admissions process has become a benchmark for academic excellence. In a hypothetical scenario, the global economy might be transformed by new trade agreements. In a hypothetical scenario, social media could become a dominant platform for political activism. To come to a consensus. To reach a general agreement. The group struggled to come to a consensus due to differing priorities and personal agendas. Efforts to come to a consensus on the budget allocations delayed the project's initial timelines. It took multiple meetings to come to a consensus regarding the company's strategic direction. As a benchmark for. As a standard for comparison. These criteria can act as a benchmark for assessing the quality of the program's outcomes. As a benchmark for excellence, their work inspired others to aim higher in their own endeavors. This report will serve as a benchmark for evaluating the success of future sustainability initiatives. In an evolving landscape. In a changing situation or environment. Leadership is being redefined in an evolving landscape of diverse and globalized workplaces. In an evolving landscape of technology, adaptability is the key to sustained competitive advantage. The education system is shifting in an evolving landscape of remote learning and digital resources. With growing momentum. With increasing energy or support. With growing momentum, renewable energy is becoming a dominant force worldwide. The green energy movement is progressing with growing momentum across various nations. The scheme progressed with growing momentum as support poured in from various stakeholders. In partnership with. Collaborating alongside someone or something. The study results are expected to prompt reflection on healthcare accessibility improvements. The festival was organized in partnership with community leaders to celebrate cultural diversity. The initiative was executed in partnership with non-profit enterprises to address the housing crisis. To prompt reflection on. To encourage thinking about something. Social media trends are often created to prompt reflection on how we engage with technology. Educational programs are structured to prompt reflection on students' roles in global citizenship. Policy changes in urban planning seek to prompt reflection on community well-being and inclusivity. A blessing in disguise. Something that seems bad at first, but turns out as good. The sudden closure of the office turned out to be a blessing in disguise, fostering teamwork. The unexpected delay became a blessing in disguise, as it allowed for additional preparation. The pandemic was a blessing in disguise, highlighting the importance of digital transformation. An inherent flaw. A built-in weakness or problem. An inherent flaw in the education policy led to unequal access for students in rural areas. There is an inherent flaw in the system that prevents it from scaling effectively with demand. The design's inherent flaw became apparent when the product failed under stress conditions. On the precipice of. On the brink or edge of something significant. They found themselves on the precipice of a financial collapse due to reckless investments. On the precipice of graduation, she felt both excitement and apprehension about the future. Humanity stands on the precipice of major technological advancements reshaping how we live. To explore potential avenues. To investigate possible options or paths. To explore potential avenues for funding, the startup approached several venture capitalists. The leaders met to explore potential avenues for resolving long-standing territorial disputes. The meeting was held to explore potential avenues for improving international trade relations. At the core of. At the center or most important part of something. At the core of this debate are the ethical implications of artificial intelligence advancements. Compassion remains at the core of the organization's mission to help vulnerable communities. At the core of our mission is the commitment to environmental sustainability and innovation. In stark recognition of. Clearly acknowledging something significant. The monument was erected in stark recognition of the sacrifices made by wartime heroes. In stark recognition of environmental challenges, new regulations were introduced nationwide. In stark recognition of the situation, the government announced emergency measures to assist. With this framework in mind, considering this structure or system, with this framework in mind, they created a roadmap for the organization's long-term goals. With this framework in mind, we approached the problem from a multidisciplinary perspective. The project was executed with this framework in mind, ensuring sustainable and ethical practices. In view of rising concerns. Considering the increasing worries. Schools revised their curriculum in view of rising concerns regarding student mental health. In view of rising concerns, scientists are prioritizing alternative energy research over fossil fuels. Public health campaigns were launched in view of rising concerns about increasing obesity rates. As a forward-thinking approach. As a progressive or future-oriented method. Introducing eco-friendly materials is seen as a forward-thinking approach in the fashion industry. As a forward-thinking approach, they integrated renewable energy sources into their power grids. Promoting public transportation is seen as a forward-thinking approach to reducing urban pollution. On a global scale. Worldwide or affecting many countries. Poverty and inequality remain pressing challenges that require solutions on a global scale. Collaboration among nations is crucial for addressing pandemics effectively on a global scale. As a forward-thinking approach, educational institutions are emphasizing digital literacy from an indirect correlation with directly related to or connected with. On a global scale, efforts to combat poverty require collaborative and sustained initiatives. On a global scale, economic disparities continue to hinder collective progress and development. Technology has revolutionized communication and connectivity on a global scale in recent years. To lay the groundwork for. To prepare the basis for something. Educational outcomes are in direct correlation with access to quality learning resources. The success of the campaign was in direct correlation with its innovative marketing strategies. Economic growth is frequently observed in direct correlation with infrastructure development. In the spirit of collaboration. In the context of working together. In the spirit of collaboration, everyone contributed their unique skills to the successful event. In the spirit of collaboration, the community worked together to rebuild after the disaster struck. In the spirit of collaboration, researchers from various fields pooled their expertise for the study. At the crossroads of at a point where two paths or ideas meet. The new research is at the crossroads of artificial intelligence and human cognitive studies. Climate science is now at the crossroads of policy, public awareness, and global cooperation. This study lies at the crossroads of neuroscience and psychology, offering innovative insights. In concrete terms. In clear and specific language. The strategy was detailed, in concrete terms, to ensure clear communication and execution. In concrete terms, this technology can reduce data processing time by half, boosting productivity. To address poverty, in concrete terms, we need programs focusing on job creation and education. To serve as a reminder of. To act as a prompt to remember something. The award ceremony aims to serve as a reminder of the value of hard work and dedication. The recent disaster should serve as a reminder of the importance of emergency preparedness. The assembly sessions serve as a reminder of the pressing need for educational reform worldwide. With a collaborative effort. Working together as a team. With a collaborative effort, the community rebuilt their homes after the devastating hurricane. The cleanup drive was completed with a collaborative effort from local volunteers and authorities. Innovation thrives with a collaborative effort between engineers and scientists from different fields. To give credence to. To provide support or credibility to an idea. Historical documents give credence to the existence of ancient trade routes across the region. To give credence to his claims, the scientist provided supporting evidence from multiple studies. To give credence to her point, she cited relevant research conducted by well-known institutions. In simplified terms. In a more straightforward way. The guide breaks down complex scientific theories in simplified terms for general readers. To explain it in simplified terms, coding is like giving step-by-step instructions to a computer. The teacher explained the concept in simplified terms, to ensure every student could understand. To narrow the focus on. To concentrate on a specific area or detail. To narrow the focus on customer needs, market research was conducted to gather insights. To narrow the focus on enhancing quality, resources were allocated to key production stages. To narrow the focus on improving efficiency, we identified areas where automation could help. In pursuit of excellence. Aiming to achieve the highest standards. In pursuit of excellence, the team left no detail unchecked during the project execution. In pursuit of excellence, innovation and perseverance remain at the core of their strategies. In pursuit of excellence, the union sets ambitious goals and strives to surpass them regularly. With sustained efforts. With ongoing and continuous work. With sustained efforts, the research team made significant progress in the fight against cancer. The nation overcame the crisis with sustained efforts from both the government and citizens. With sustained efforts, the organization continues to improve its services and reach new clients. In close alignment with. In strong agreement or coordination with. In close alignment with international standards, the new regulations were carefully crafted. The marketing strategy was developed in close alignment with consumer feedback and insights. The new curriculum was designed in close alignment with current industry trends and demands. With due diligence. With careful and thorough effort. With due diligence, they secured the necessary permits before starting the construction plan. With due diligence, researchers reviewed data for accuracy and credibility before publication. The investors made their decision with due diligence, carefully reviewing the startup's potential. As a necessary precaution. As an important measure to prevent something. As a necessary precaution, the event organizers limited attendance to ensure crowd control. The doctor recommended a quarantine period as a necessary precaution against further spread. As a necessary precaution, all employees underwent health screenings before returning to work. In recognition of. Acknowledging or honoring something. In recognition of his contributions, the organization awarded him the Employee of the Year title. In recognition of the milestone, a celebratory event was held to honor the team's achievements. In recognition of their innovative ideas, the team received international recognition for their work. With all parties involved. With everyone who is part of the situation. With all parties involved, the agreement was structured to ensure mutual benefits and goals. The event was organized with all parties involved, contributing to the planning and execution. With all parties involved, the community project raised funds for local charities and development. To provide an overview of. To give a summary or general view of something. To provide an overview of the curriculum, the school's academic philosophy was explained. To provide an overview of the situation, the director summarized key events and decisions. The report aims to provide an overview of the company's financial performance over the year. In the final tally. In the end result or conclusion. In the final tally, the team emerged as champions after a competitive and intense season. In the final tally, the proposal was accepted due to its thorough research and clear strategy. In the final tally, their efforts resulted in a substantial reduction in overall operating costs.